I am going to quickly go over the viewport of Photoshop because at first it is very overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing. Right here are tabs. I have multiple tabs open for different drawings. I have no idea why. I just hate closing things. Up here is your basic stuff: file, edit, image. With image, you actually have all your things like adjustments, all your editing when it comes to the overall image. Right here you have all your layer settings, and you can also find these elsewhere. Right here's all your options for text, and again you can find these elsewhere too. These are your options for select, like for example when you select something with the lasso tool. Right here's your filter menu. You'll have things like liquify and Gaussian blur underneath this tab. Here's your view. You can turn on rulers, you can turn on snap to rulers, you can zoom in, zoom out, and that kind of stuff. Plugins. You can install plugins right here. I have one plugin. It is a color palette type of plugin. Yeah, and here it is right here. If you pick a color, it will give you the color families related to that color. What I did was just change my workspace, but I'll go over that shortly. For now, what we're gonna go do is look at your windows. This is how you can add windows. Right here is where you add your windows, and these are your window options. I personally like to have the navigator, my brush settings, and a few other ones selected. But yeah. Right here is the navigator. I like to have this up at all times. If you pull up on this slider right here, it will zoom in and zoom out for you. This little red box shows you exactly where you are at on your canvas. So I'm gonna grab this tab at the top and I'm gonna pull it and push it onto the tab bar for this top section of my workspace. So I can have it at the top. It's just my personal preference for where I like it. Right here are the settings for the current tool you have selected. I currently have the brush selected. Right here are brush blend modes, one of your favorite things in Photoshop. Right here is your opacity override. With it being an override, it will change your brush settings per se, but more on that later. Right here you have your symmetry tool. I'm sure you all know what that is, but right here you have your toolbar. You have your things like your brush, your lasso tool, your eraser, your paint bucket, your smudge tool. Yeah. With each little triangle on each tool set, it has a another setting underneath of it. And depending on what workspace you're in, you'll have different tools right here. Right now we are in the Essentials workspace, but I'll show you how to change that later. Over here you have other tools. You can add to this bar right here by going up to your window menu at the top and selecting whatever tool you want. Right here you have your adjustments, your library, your channels, right next to your layers, and your paths. Layers are one of your most powerful tools in Photoshop. These adjustments, if you add one, it's an adjustment layer, and that's only if you add the adjustments from your tool panel right here. You have things like levels, curves, brightness, color balance. You have all of that right here, but it will add a layer mask if you add it from here. If you want something more permanent, you will have to go up to the menu at the top and go to image and adjustments. Those aren't reversible. Well, they are reversible if you hit undo, but you only get so many undos until it's no longer reversible. If you're unsure of what direction you want to take the image in, it's best to just use the adjustment layers. Right here you have your layer blend modes. You can actually put each of these options on a brush and paint with it that way, but you can also just take a darker shade of a color, like your overall color, like a dark blue, change your layer mode to multiply, and just paint everything, and it will darken and saturate the areas that you paint with whatever color you picked. You have your opacity right here, and those options that I was just hovering over are your layer lock modes. You have transparency lock, you have a paint lock, a move lock, a transform lock. For example, the paint lock, if it's locked, you cannot paint anything on that layer until you unlock it. What I just showed off, the FX menu, is your layer effects like stroke, bevel and emboss, drop shadow. You'll find that there. You can also add layers down here. You can group layers with a little folder, and if you hit these little three dots right here, you have all of these other options for your layers. But you can find all of this at your layers drop down menu at the very top too. Each of these little 3 dots in each of your little panels has options, and it's best to go through them just to see what the options are. And here I'm showing off whatever you can find over here. You can also find at the top up here. And I'm showing off that these adjustments right here are permanent, while the other ones in your panel on the side are not permanent. Those are masked. Right now I'm just showing off the different tabs I have right here. I don't use most of these. Swatches is good because it has a history. It'll give you a history of all of the previous colors you used. And here is your color box. You can also change it to a color wheel by hitting these 3 dots and going to the color wheel, but you also have all these other options too. I prefer the color wheel in the box, the hue slider box, whatever it's called. From here, I'm going to show you the different workspaces. So I'm in the essentials. This is motion workspace. You see down here, there's a timeline down here. You have all of these other options already picked up for you, like the history, the clone stamp. There's a lot of neat options over here. You still have access to your layer panels, but let's say there is something that you want that you can't see here. You just go up to your window and pick whichever one you want. Down here you have your create timeline. This is where you can make animations here in Photoshop. But if you want to animate frame by frame, you go down here and click these little 3 boxes, and then you can animate frame by frame. From here, we're going to go into a different workspace. I'm going to go into the painting workspace. This is what I primarily work in, just because it has all the tools I already need. I'm just going to flip through all of the options here. You can take each option and close it if you want. You can add more. Also, this applies to every workspace. You can add and subtract whatever you want. And if you were to look all the way on the left side, you would see that the toolbar expanded dramatically from the last workspace that we had. And if you hit these little 3 dots, you will get more options. And if you hold down on any of the tools on the side, you will have a little triangle. And if you hold down on that tool, then it will give you a menu for other similar tools. Now I changed the workspace to the photography workspace, and you can see things change. Oh, and here I'm showing off if you hold down on any tool, then it will give you a sub menu for that tool. Here is a web workspace where you can work on essentially websites. I don't really know who does that anymore in Photoshop, but at the same time, I'm not a web designer, so I'm sure people still use it. I think used to be able to like create entire websites in Photoshop. Wild. And then from here, I'm gonna show me dragging off one of these menus here and closing them out. I don't like my workspace super cluttered, so I just drag things out that I don't need and just get rid of them. But let's say there's a special situation to where I need one of these, I'll go ahead and just re-add it by going up to window and selecting whatever toolbar I need. Just like in Maya, there's 100 ways to do one single thing. Like you can go into many different menus to go to your adjustments. You can play around with brushes in 1,000 different ways. From here, I'm just gonna go back to the windows and just show off what your options are right here. I am going to select an option here just to show how it would pop up and that you're able to move it around. I'm going to select my adjustment toolbar. It randomly popped up down here for some reason as a separate window. So I'm just going to drag the tab and put it next to my brush panel. And then I can pull it out. I can put it on the toolbar right here. Yeah, you can customize this thing to however you want it. Right here are all my brushes. I have a lot of brushes that I don't use, but I have several that I use consistently. I mainly use the main Photoshop brush with pressure turned on. Right now I'm just going to draw a little line right here, and then I'm going to right click to show off my brush menu where I can adjust the hardness of the brush. I can change my brushes here, I can change them on the side. There's so many different ways that you can change your brushes, and up here you can change them too. Right clicking is going to be your best friend. Right now I'm hitting the Alt button on a MacBook, and what that does is when you're using your brush, if you hold down Alt, it will toggle your eyedropper tool. But the moment you let go, it will go right back to your brush. So it's a quick way to pick up colors and continue to brush to blend. Down here is the stupid little AI little menu down here. You can turn it off by going to your windows and turning off the taskbar right there. I mainly use it just as a way to quickly deselect things, because that is an option. Otherwise I hate the little thing. Right here I'm showing off my little plugin. Right here I'm showing my fancy little plugin. Right here I'm showing off my plugin. I absolutely love the damn thing. It's really helpful for picking colors like the hue shifts and saturation shifts and all of that. It's lovely. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.